Welcome to FRC Media News. I'm Keith Tebow. I hope you had a joyous holiday with family and friends and are looking forward to the new year. We want to use today's show to look back at what made news in Fall River throughout 2019. And it's safe to say it was quite a year. So let's get started. 2018 ended and 2019 began with the future of Fall River's political landscape in flux. Back in October 2018, Mayor Jazio Correa was arrested and charged with 13 federal counts of defrauding investors and filing false tax returns related to a business he started prior to his time as mayor, Snow Owl. Mayor Correa was adamant the charges were politically motivated and he had done nothing wrong. Late last year, a group of citizens organized an initiative to force a special election to recall Mayor Correa, saying that his legal troubles influence his ability to focus on his duties to lead the city. The group collected nearly 6,000 signatures to qualify for the recall election, which took place in March. 5 candidates qualified for the ballot to become mayor in the event the recall was successful. The candidates were Mayor Correa, School Committeeman Paul Coogan, City Councilor Joseph Camara, former School Committeeman and City Councilor Kyle Riley, and newcomer Erica Scott Pacheco. During a forum with the candidates prior to the election, each was asked a question at the heart of the recall. Why should the community trust you? Here were their responses.
When I talk about why people should trust me, I work with a lot of contractors, a lot of businesses, and I'm on commission. And these people trust me with their business, trust me with their employees. I've coached a lot of youth organizations, and these parents trust me with their children. And in the community, people out there who know me, they trust me. City Hall, department heads, employees, they trust me. People in the general public, they trust me because I'm trustworthy. I've never broken a promise to people. I've made a lot of promises. A lot of the things that I've accomplished in this community is because people know they can come to me and tell me what they want to tell me, and I've never broken their trust. I get through to them and tell them, and I'll help them any way possible. But trust is a very important thing to me, and it's something that I know people believe in me, and that's why I'm trustworthy.
People of Fall River should trust me because of my 27-year record of serving your children and the city of Fall River. Never had a bad write-up, always had excellent evaluations, and worked extremely hard to make sure I could keep parents, staff, and children going in the right direction. Wasn't always successful, but I never did anything wrong. And I have focused my entire campaign on honesty, integrity, the hallmarks of things you need to be successful. I do not for 1 minute believe that the people on this stage have the education, the experience, the work history, or the personal skills that I do that I plan to bring to this position. I think that by working with people, listening to people, and getting things done, you exhibit a type of integrity and honesty that the citizens of this city respect.
Just to reiterate, each and every day I have to work with all the department heads in our community, all of our city employees in our community, and they have trusted me to be their leader. And I think we've done a great job from the fire department to community development agency to the police department, all the way down to the school department to DCM. That takes a lot of trust. They got to trust me that if I say, hey, you know what, we're going to eliminate this fee, that we're going to have the money to keep their jobs. So it was an extremely important balance for me as the mayor, especially a young mayor coming in at 23 years old. I know I had to prove myself to the public, but I had to prove myself to our city employees. And they had to trust me to say, yes, we can responsibly get rid of this fee, but you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to see brownouts in the fire department. You're not going to see overtime cut. We're not cutting services. We're going to eliminate these fees, which the public wants, but we're also going to continue the trust that we are going to fund these departments at a higher degree than we've ever done it before, which is what we achieved. And that took a lot of trust.
One of the most important things is trust. I'd like to start off by saying it's a personal matter for me. Trust is something you build through being involved in the community. From being president of youth soccer for 20 years of involvement, coaching in basketball, being an elk here in the city for 22 years. I've been involved regardless of it's elections or if it's just being involved in my community or just being my family involved in the community.
Because I have built my career establishing and proving that I keep my promises. Specifically, my current position is Director of Development. in charge of fundraising a multi-million-dollar budget, building the budget, fundraising for the budget, and reporting on the budget. And what that means is that the process of a grant, in many ways, is like keeping a political promise. So there's 3 steps I'll go through with you. The first step is you make the promise. That's the goal of the grant. The second step is you do the work. And the third step is you prove it. That's the reporting. For someone to not keep their promises, to not be trustworthy in development, that's a really good way to lose your job pretty quickly. Lose the grant, lose your job. I've been very successful. I have 15 years working in this field. I've been promoted to being in the top of my field. And that's why I'm asking you, the voters, to place your trust in me.
Now, on the night of the election, 32% of the eligible voters took part and recalled Mayor Correa by a 61 to 39% margin. But when the voters decided who should be elected mayor on the second half of the ballot, Mayor Correa edged Paul Coogan to regain office.
Everybody in this room, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is something else. This is something else. I am honestly overwhelmed, and everybody in the room knows I am usually not speechless. Especially at the debates, but today I am speechless. Just thank you to the team, the staff at City Hall, the City Hall employees. Thank you, guys. I love you. Thank you. Thank you to the campaign team. All of you. I mean, the list is endless. We can name every single person here. We were up till 4 a.m. doing drops last night, 4:30 in the morning doing drops. We were at church this morning. We were everywhere, every single person, all week, every single day, at all the senior high-rises, at the senior centers, on the campaign trail, at the door knocking, at the phone calls. We were everywhere. I couldn't have done this without all of you at home, all of you watching. Thank you so much. This is just, it's an honor to serve. It's an honor to serve. I'm losing my voice. It's an honor to serve the city of Fall River. It was a long fought battle, but we prevailed. And I can't thank you enough. We're going to be right at City Hall tomorrow to keep doing the people's business. Continued services, more police officers, more firefighters, less taxes and fees, more teachers, better roads, better economic development. It's because of you we won this election. We're going to win another one in November. We're going to another one 3 years from now. We're going to keep winning. We're going to keep winning. And we are going to make Fall River, Massachusetts, the best city in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I think Fall River, and I'll say it again, deserves better than we ended up tonight, but the voters decided to go a different way, so we're going to respect them because that's how the system works. I know they voted to recall the mayor, and then they vote, and he had enough votes with the amount of splitting to hang on by 300 votes. I tip my hat to him. Good job. But I am telling you right now, I'm a tad upset, and I'm looking at September and thinking of how we may be able to make this better. Tonight we acknowledge the mayor won. I tip my hat to him if I had one on. And I say we keep Fall River moving forward. And again, you will never know how much your efforts mean to me. I don't care if it was putting a sticker on your car, a sign in your yard, calling a friend, saying hello to somebody to try to pick up some support for me. It was because of people like you that I went out there trudging around like a lunatic every day, and I really can't thank you enough. I appreciate it, and it means more to me than most of the things I've ever had in my life, and I can't say enough, and that's enough for me talking. Thank you. Let's all have a beer and have a laugh. Thank you.
Now, those who organized the recall had a very strong reaction to the outcome of the special election.
How does a city recall a mayor in one election and in the same election re-elect him? I'll tell you how. egos. Egos like Joe Camaras and Erica Scott Pacheco and Kyle Riley.
Do you think there'll be a recount?
I have no clue.
I don't know. What are the final figures at this point? If it's close enough, maybe there should be. That's going to be up to the candidate who just walked by me.
All we had to do was go out and get the election set. We did it. We did exactly what we set out to do. We got that election. And it was up to the hands of the voters to make it work.
And we got him recalled.
We did get him recalled. The recall won overwhelmingly. But the votes split.
Throughout the spring and summer, Mayor Correa continued to serve as he and others prepared for the 2019 city election. In that election, 3 candidates put their names into the ring to run for mayor, all who ran in the recall: Mayor Correa, Paul Coogan, and Erica Scott Pacheco. Then, on Friday, September 6th, less than 2 weeks prior to the preliminary election, Mayor Correa was arrested again by federal authorities, this time charged with 11 counts of conspiracy, bribery, and extortion in the issuance of letters of non-opposition to applicants looking to locate a marijuana dispensary in Fall River. U.S. Attorney Andrew Lelling spelled out the charges in what he described as the mayor's brazen corruption.
According to the indictment, usually through middlemen, Correa extorted hundreds of thousands of dollars from these vendors in amounts ranging from $25,000 to $250,000 when they sought non-opposition letters from the city. From 2016 to 2018, he did this to at least 4 separate would-be marijuana vendors in Fall River. Total agreed payments to Correa topped $600,000, structured in various ways. All involved cash payments. Some involved Correa and his co-conspirators getting a cut from future marijuana sales. In one instance, the vendor agreed to have his friends and family make donations to Correa's mayoral campaign amounting to over $12,000. In another, Correa allegedly simply showed up at a vendor's place of business with his chief of staff and asked for $250,000 in exchange for a non-opposition letter. In short, despite Mayor Correa's public assurances to the city of Fall River, based on today's indictment, he has essentially run that town as a pay-to-play institution.
Once again, the mayor proclaimed his innocence and vowed not to resign. Also charged were 4 alleged co-conspirators: former Chief of Staff Jen Andrade and Correa associates Hildegard Camara, David Hebert, and Antonia Costa. The last 3 all pleaded guilty in exchange for possibly aiding the government's case against the mayor. 4 days later, on Tuesday, September 10th, the City Council voted 8-1 to remove the mayor from office, citing a provision in the city charter which allows for a removal if a mayor is not able to perform his or her duties. The resolution was sponsored by City Council President Cliff Ponte.
As president of this council tonight, I'm respectfully requesting that the mayor step down until he resolves his legal matters or temporarily steps aside. But apparently he hasn't yet. I am sure that there will be some people here who say that the city council, or I'll take the heat for it, is challenging the city and will cost the taxpayers money. For those people, I'll counter that comment by saying not $1 will be spent if the mayor steps down. In addition, I'd like to conclude this by saying for those individuals or people who may be thinking that I'm lying or dying or wanting his seat as council president for the purpose of filing these resolutions, that is not the case. If I wanted his seat, I would have ran in the recall or I would have ran this fall. I'm simply just trying to step up for this community and be a leader as your council president.
The lone no vote came from Councilor Stephen Camara. At the preliminary election, Paul Coogan came up with a convincing victory, garnering 62% of the vote in the 3-person race, with Mayor Correa finishing second with just under 21% of the vote. In the 6 weeks leading up to the city election in November, the political fate of Mayor Correa played out in Superior Court as well within the court of public opinion. Trying to save his seat, the mayor met with supporters in late September, hinting that a strategy for him to win re-election was the introduction of 1 or more write-in candidates to spread out the vote, similar to what we saw in the recall election. In early October, a Superior Court judge ruled in favor of Mayor Correa, blocking the City Council's vote to remove him from office. Eventually, either through his own volition or heeding the advice of others, Mayor Correa announced on October 15th that he would step aside.
I'm here today to officially announce my decision to forgo my campaign for re-election as the mayor of Fall River and take a temporary absence from my responsibilities as the mayor of the city. Those duties will now be handled by the City Council President. I will continue as mayor until January 1st, 2020, and will focus the remaining time and my attention on championing and supporting many of the impactful social programs that I have established during my administration. Today's announcement provides the City of Fall River an opportunity to build on the successes and accomplishments of my administration without any distraction. This announcement allows the voters who will take to the polls the chance to evaluate candidates on policy and platforms, not headlines. The people of Fall River have shown their continuous support for the work that I've done as their mayor by electing me 3 times, and I will be forever grateful to each and every one of them. I pledge that I will see that work through and reaffirm their confidence in me. At the end of the day, Fall River must win, not just any one person. That is why at this time, the city must have an opportunity to continue to thrive and build upon the solid foundation and framework without distraction. I will never waver in my commitment to the people of Fall River. Today is not goodbye. It's far from it. Whether serving in an official capacity as an elected official or not, I will continue to fight every day to improve the lives of every resident of the great city of Fall River. And I fully expect to lead this city on the rise once again in the future.
Because of the timing of the announcement, the mayor's name would still remain on the city election ballot, and he would still be paid until his term ended in January. The very next day, a candidate stepped forward to launch a write-in campaign, City Administrator Kathy Ann Viveros.
I thought it was very important that we give the voters of Fall River a choice in the upcoming election for mayor. I will be a write-in candidate for that office. As I hear about the change that my opponent is planning, I am very fearful that the tremendous progress we have made over the past 6 years will be lost. We deserve more than a default vote for a candidate that I believe will bring back the failed economic practices from our past. I have been involved in the community of Fall River for over 40 years, and I can honestly say, in my lifetime, I have never seen the city so poised to complete an economic transformation that will make our workforce a dominant force in the entire South Coast. Fall River is developing a prominent role in new and emerging technologies, and this is going to be extremely beneficial to allow us to grow and prosper, and for our workforce to do the same. We're developing strategic partnerships with our state government agencies. We're working diligently, and we are coming so close. We cannot change our course now. We have got to keep it going.
Yes. All the late maneuvering changed little in affecting the outcome of the election, as Paul Coogan earned a landslide victory, collecting over 80% of the vote.
This has been a long campaign, and I am grateful for all of the ones that hung in there with me and worked so hard to get to this point right here tonight at Our Lady of Light. Thank you for not giving up on me, and more importantly, thank you for not giving up on Fall River. I ask of you to make a personal decision. Let's bury whatever separates us and embrace whatever unites us and commit to a different way of running our city. We can do this by working together. I promise tonight that as I make decisions, no decisions will be based on how it affects me or how it affects my political future. My decisions will be based on data, people's viewpoints, and what I truly believe is in the best interest of Fall River.
Now, there was more to Fall River politics in 2019 than the race for mayor. Fall River residents elected 3 new members of the City Council in November: Trot Lee, Christopher Peckham, and Michelle Dion. Back for another stint on the council is Linda Pereira. Re-elected were Sean Kadim, Brad Kilby, Pamela Liberty-Lebeau, Leo Pelletier, and Cliff Ponte. Ousted were incumbents Joseph Camara and Stephen Camara. The 4 incumbents on the school committee were re-elected in November: Kevin Aguiar, Mark Costa, Joshua Hetzler, and Tom Corey. Paul Hart will return for a second seating on the committee and will be joined by newcomer Mimi Larrabee. With the turmoil of local politics in 2019, many are hoping for a calm and efficient local government in 2020. We'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, Mayor Correa awaits the next steps to his federal trial, with a court date set for May. During the recall election, the issue of trash again came to the forefront. As part of a campaign promise, Mayor Correa ended the city's pay-as-you-throw purple bag program. As a result, the city lost revenue dedicated to trash removal and saw an increase in trash fees as more people who hired private haulers came back to the city for trash removal. Hate became a visible symbol in Fall River in mid-March as vandals defaced nearly 60 gravestones at Fall River's Hebrew Cemetery in the city's south end. Local police and the FBI are treating the incident as a hate crime. Dozens of community members of all faiths came together a week later to denounce the act of anti-Semitism and gather in solidarity with the Jewish community.
Scrawled on the headstones behind me constitute a crime against the community. Not just the Jewish community, but the entire community. Every person buried here is connected to a living family member, a friend, a community. On one of the headstones, the words "Expel the Jews" were written. And we have a message for the individual who wrote it. We will not be expelled. We will not remain silent. We will stand up for ourselves and for all those targeted by bigotry. As members of this community, we will not be intimidated, and we will not tolerate anti-Semitism or any kind of hatred. We gather today in solidarity, united to declare this sacred burial ground no place for hate, to declare Fall River no place for hate, and to declare Massachusetts no place for hate.
The vandalism remains under investigation. The region's business interests became a bit more cohesive in 2019 as the Bristol County Chamber of Commerce in Fall River and the South Coast Chamber of Commerce in New Bedford agreed to integrate their services under a new umbrella organization.
We had the governor down for dinner and 330 of our closest friends as we announced the name of the new organization, which is going to be One South Coast Chamber. And we were able to have the governor actually unveil the logo. It was a great night. It was very exciting, and the communities and our membership are very excited about the name and the direction.
Yeah, and what is the direction?
The direction is we're going to be more of a regional organization, but we're going to maintain our office right here in Fall River. We're going to maintain the office in New Bedford. All the staff stays. And we're going to work hard to provide great value for our members.
With the technology, with the internet, with people doing online shopping, how is that, though, affecting businesses despite your merger?
I think the online shopping is affecting everybody. Amazon, who's a member, they do a great job. You can buy something today and have it in 24 hours. So they are doing a good job with that. But you don't get the personal service, and so many of our members provide great personal service, and that's the important thing to consider. And that's where the value comes, and you've got the local people, and people are really interested in working with locals, and they want to get really good top shelf service.
During the same program last year, the city was celebrating the initial stages of constructing a new BMC Durfee High School along Ellsbury Street. We had the opportunity throughout the year to see how the project progressed. The goal still is to open the doors of the new high school in September of 2021. There were other public works projects undertaken by the city in 2019 that made or will make some positive impacts. we followed water and sewer construction projects along Middle Street and near Eastern Avenue. And currently work is underway on the long-awaited reconstruction of the William S. Canning Boulevard in the far south end of the city. Another project that will help boost the city's tourism industry took a step forward in 2019. Backed by state, city, and community support, ground was broken for the installation of the replica Vietnam War Memorial Wall at Fall River's Bicentennial Park. The ceremony was attended by Governor Baker and is geared to making Fall River the host to one of the largest war veterans recognition sites in New England.
Whatever you think about the conflict, appreciate the fact that somebody stood up, put on that uniform, and put themselves in harm's way for the rest of us so that we could live in a free democracy here in America. What a terrible way to have to learn that lesson. What a terrible way. So I'm going to start, first of all, by apologizing as Governor of the Commonwealth to all the veterans of that Vietnam War who are here for not giving you the welcome home that every single one of you earned. There are a lot of books that have been written and a lot of things that have been said about the war in Vietnam, but the one that captures it best for me was the one in which, and I don't remember the name of the author, he said, the Vietnam War asked everything of a few and nothing of most of the people in America. And to me, that pretty much sums it up. To those who served, we are eternally grateful for your willingness to stand up and suit up and serve your country. 1, 2, 3.
Just last week, Governor Baker was back in Fall River to announce that an additional $600,000 in state funds will be allocated to fully fund the first phase of the project, with the wall due to be constructed in the upcoming year. That's our look back at some of the news stories in Fall River in 2019. We leave you with what is probably the most visual news event of the year, the implosion of the cooling towers at the Brayton Point Power Plant in Somerset. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow, wishing all of you a very happy and prosperous new year. Thanks for watching.